Good morning. Good morning. Great
morning.
The great mayoral staff. Thank you all for being here. I want to thank these folks here for agreeing to work in an exciting atmosphere, tense and pressured, but to work with me and on behalf of the citizens of San Diego for a better San Diego over the next 4 years. We wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you what we call the personal staff of the mayor, my first 24 hires, because these are the people who are with us every day. These are the people who interact with you and with the public on a daily basis. And we wanted to let you know the kind of people that we have hired that will make up the team that is going to move San Diego forward. I made a simple campaign pledge that we would change the face of City Hall, bringing in the full diversity of the community. And I think the diversity of the city, of this nation, is reflected in the staff behind me. In fact, 88% of these people are women and people of color. That's a significant change in the what the face of City Hall looks like, and we are very proud of that. We look first for competence, experience, excellence, responsiveness, but we also wanted to make sure that the full diversity of our city is reflected in this. More than half of the staff that you see behind me are women. More than a third are Latino. Almost a quarter are African American. So this is the kind of team that will support me as we move forward to change this city. They reflect the neighborhoods of our city, and I would really like to introduce to you each one. This is the start. Some, by the way, have just started this week or a few days ago. Others have started a few weeks ago. But now we have our core team together in which we will build on. Our chief of staff, is Vince Hall.
Got your back.
I've only known Vince for about 25 years. I met him when he was a college student. We've been friends ever since. He has worked for me in various capacities over a decade, including in the city council office when I was a city councilman, and in Congress, where he served as my chief of staff for our district office. And of course, his role is to drive the mayor's policy and political agenda and coordinate all these staff people. Nelson Hernandez, I'm not sure where's everybody standing. So where's Nelson? Raise your hand so that people see. Nelson is going to be the Assistant Chief Operating Officer and in charge of special projects dealing with community-based infrastructure, capital improvement, finance. He is an expert at both local, national, regional levels in housing and finance, community development. He has worked for the Department of Housing and Urban Development. He's most recently comes to us from Los Angeles and Washington as the Senior Associate Director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency. So welcome to San Diego. He has not yet moved his family here, but he's going to move his family here to San Diego. Alan Jones, I saw, is the Deputy Chief of Staff, and will serve also as head of the new division that we'll be setting up and hopefully announce in a few weeks. That will put planning and planning and quality of life as chief issues in our functions when we are approving permits and new development. He was the assistant planning director of the deputy planning director of the city of San Diego in the past. He has been the chief of staff for a certain city council member. Worked for me also when I was in Congress. And for 20 years, last 20 years, has been Vice President of Planning and Land Development for the H.D. Fenton Company. Brings to us, therefore, public and private sector experience. Alan, thanks for rejoining us. Francisco Estrada, got to raise your hand, Francisco, will be the Director of Council Affairs as liaison with the Council on policy issues and their various committees. He also worked in a District 8 Council office when I was a member there, and became my Chief of Staff for the Congressional Office for a short time also. He has served in Sacramento, working for various state assembly people. He has worked with the Mexican-American Legal Defense and Education Fund, MALDEF, for a long time. It brings a lot of experience at the state level to this job. Irene McCormick is our Director of Communications. Irene has joined us after a 9-year career at the Port of San Diego, most recently as Vice President of Public Policy. And of course, she's worked before that as a working news person, what is now the UT, as a reporter there. But she's going to help us not only on media matters, but obviously with her experience at the port, make sure I fulfill my commitment to making the port a driving economic engine for the city of San Diego in a way that it has not done, and she has vast experience in that effort. My first appointment that I made during the campaign and fulfilled that promise was former City Councilwoman Donna Fry. Very demurely hiding in the back there. Donna, as you know, was a chief spokesperson and devoted leader of the cause of open government. And she is directing a new office we have in the Mayor's office called the Director Open Government and Community Engagement, to make sure that our decisions are transparent and the community is involved in all of those decisions. She's been a leader with grassroots for a long time. We welcome Donna to the administration. Lee Burdick is our Director of Special Projects and Legal Affairs. You may know Lee as a former port commissioner, which she just recently resigned. We thank you for your service there, and she brings us additional expertise in the port, which I think obviously is pretty important. She has served, she was a lawyer in private practice for 25 years, and she specialized in administrative law involving federal, state, and local government agencies. Linda Perrine is our Director of Community Outreach. Where's Linda? Hi, Linda. She has a law degree in economics from the University of Texas. We decided to go against our Texas prejudice and bring her in. And she has a Texas accent, which will add greatly to this office. She has been in San Diego for the last 25 years and was active as chair of the LGBT redistricting task force when redistricting took place recently. She's going to try to build what we'll call an information highway between the mayor and the neighborhoods to make sure that we have a very close and active relationships. Mario Lopez, the Director of Binational Affairs, has been involved in U.S.-Mexico border issues for a long time in my office when I was city councilman. He also worked as chief of staff for a congressman in the Mexican government, Carlos Torres of Baja, and has vast experience with the border region. And of course, he'll not only serve in a more general role, but also to supervise the new Tijuana office that will be opening in a short time. Leah Fields Bernard is Director of Appointments and Compliance. She's a former deputy city attorney. She worked in Councilmember Tony Young's office, and she was the consultant for the Rules Committee there. So has a lot of experience with local government, and she will oversee our appointment process that encompasses more than 50 boards and commissions that I get to appoint. Our Director of Neighborhood Revitalization is Willie Blair, Dr. Willie Blair, who I've known for a brief time and has worked for me for the last 20 years. Had worked for Mayor Maureen O'Connor when she was a mayor. Has been involved, obviously, for a long time in community outreach, especially to small business, and making sure we have a good liaison between small business and the military, himself being a veteran of the U.S. Navy. And he'll work to to broaden those small business opportunities and making sure that the contracts that we give out to in hundreds of millions of dollars worth really reflects the diversity of this community. Manny Doria is a community outreach person. He worked in my campaign, my first campaign for Congress 20 years ago, and did not go home when the campaign was over. So he just stayed, and so he's still here. Manny has very close relationships, especially in the Asian community, and he will be making sure that the priorities of residents and neighborhood concerns are met and understood in the mayor's office. Assistant to the mayor is Bert Luna.
Right there, behind you.
Well, obviously with my back. Bert has an extensive background in a whole lot of things, but especially in executive security and protection. He helped me in the campaign greatly, and he's going to be involved in community outreach, find innovative solutions, and working on additional issues such as homeless problems. Brenda Luga is the director of scheduling. She very graciously came over from Tony Young's office to help us set up our scheduling operation, having had done that in the council, actually City Council President Tony Young's office. And she has over a decade of senior level executive support, and is helping us make sure we have a good scheduling process in place. The Reverend John Ringgold, we're calling mayoral ambassador. He's a prominent and esteemed member of the faith community in San Diego, being an active minister, and he also understands San Diego's both place and obligation to the world, having traveled to more than 50 countries doing charitable relief work. He's going to be responsible helping us foster international relationships, helping us have closer ties with our refugee communities, making sure that we enhance our humanitarian and business and cultural life of our city, but looking at the world as a whole. Many of you know Lene Lewis. Which side is she on? Lene is our press secretary. Many of you know her from a decade as a television anchor woman, and did a great job there. She's like many of our non-Hispanic staff members, she's fluent in Spanish, and is an award-winning journalist, and she will continue in her role as liaison to the media. Steve Hadley, Deputy Director of Open Government. He has worked with Donna, his boss, in her council office as her chief of staff. Also worked for Supervisor Pam Slater-Price as a community and policy advisor, and will help Donna make sure that this city is transparent. Jessica Gomez, protocol officer. Jessica served as a senior field representative for a certain congressman, and has maintained close relationships with lots of government agencies, community organizations, businesses throughout our area, and served as my liaison on many issues such as education, healthcare, transportation, immigration, and water. She's going to oversee and manage the visiting foreign dignitaries, diplomats, government officials that they come to San Diego, prepare to welcome them, and to make sure that we're also appropriately represented at military and other city events and sister city organizations. Molly Chase, protocol officer. Raise your hand, Molly. She formerly worked for the Urban Land Institute in Los Angeles, and will act as our liaison also with dignitaries and diplomats and military officials, and a lot of the celebratory kinds of documents that we have to do as mayor. Pat Calloway, executive assistant to Vince Hall, chief of staff. She also worked for a certain congressman in the early 90s, but for the last decade or more she has worked for Price Charities, and will support, of course, and assist Chief of Staff Hall in his daily duties. Carolyn Ledesma is, hi Carolyn, is a receptionist and administrative assistant who brings us experience from Mayor Sanders' office, and will make sure that the public that sees her at the front desk and is warmly welcomed. Shalonda Vinegar. Did I get that last name right? We bring in more with honey than vinegar, you know. She also was a receptionist with Mayor Sanders, and adds life and humanity to that welcoming desk. Thank you both for staying with us. Wayne Lucero will be a mayoral assistant, working on various and sundry administrative needs that I have. She also worked in the congressional office and worked for SEIU in the labor movement. And our youngest guy, where is he? Al Alvarado, who's about the age of Balboa Park. He tells me we're celebrating his centennial soon. Al is perhaps the longest-serving member a staff member that I have had. He has worked with me for my days on the city council and as congressman. I established, some of you, none of you go back that far, we established a graffiti patrol back in 1987 or 88, and Al was the first graffiti patrolman. And the office does not run without Al. Nobody knows what he does, but it does not run without Al. So thank you for continuing with us and liaison with the community and liaison with various of the kinds of information that we need to run the city. These are the first 24 appointments. We are going to be hiring, in addition, very quickly, a Veterans Employment Office Director, what I'm calling People's Advocates for Energy and for Housing, will also join us in a more policy-making role. And so we have, this is a work in progress, and I didn't think it was appropriate while they're all here to talk about salaries and such things. All of that information of their titles, their names, their salaries will all be issued within an hour after this press conference, and they will be available for everybody. That's all public information. I just didn't want to talk about them right here. So all the spellings and titles and salaries will be on a sheet which you will get before noon today. So I think that's all the things I wanted to say. I certainly thank all of them. They bring an energy and a competence I think that is unmatched. Many of them, as I pointed out, have a lot of experience with me, so they know how we're going to be trying to do things. And as I said earlier, I wanted to show them all because they reflect the diversity of this city in ways that I don't think have ever been done before. I'm opening to any questions you have. Katie.
So I noticed you have an assistant COO. Have you made any progress in hiring a COO to replace Jay Goldstone, and what about a CFO?
You know, as you know, Katie, the Jay Goldstone as our COO has graciously decided to stay with us through the budget process, hopefully, which is April 15th. We are now engaged in a nationwide search for a COO, and we'll be getting names and doing interviews over the next month or so. But that we're undertaking a nationwide search for that office.
Are you going to hire a CFO as well?
Probably, and we'll go through the same process. I wanted to wait for the COO to take charge of that process, and so I'll be working for him or her. So, I mean, we accelerated that process. We hope to have something in 90 days. I don't know that I hope we can do it that fast. At least have a commitment from somebody.
Has Goldstone offered his resignation?
Yeah. He made known his desire to leave. He's exploring other. Well, I asked him to stay through the budget, which is April 15th. He said he will try, but if another job required him to go in February or something, he may have to do that. So we're hoping he'll stay through the budget thing. We've been meeting on the budget. We've talked about very general approach to the budget already. So we're going to be ready by April 15th with that budget.
Mr. Mayor, how many of these folks have worked for you before?
At least half. I have every statistic but that. I'll count. One. Who has worked before? Who has not worked? About 12 or 14.
Okay. Can you explain why that's important? Or why that happened that way?
Well, obviously, I know their work. I have confidence in them. They know me. They have confidence in me. A lot of what goes on is pure relationships and the way people do things and the way we understand each other. And I think it's important because the intensity, the intensity of the work is very high. And my experience has been that it's higher than in most other workplaces. And unless they understand that and know that, sometimes it's hard to adapt. They all know what they're getting into. And in spite of that, they've agreed to work for me. No, I'm a pretty hard driver of people. I demand excellence of myself and them, and they know that. And it's important, I think, that you have people who understand that need for excellence because they're used to it. It's part of the experience, and they could help train the others in that.
One other question. Given the centrality of the port to your agenda, do you have preferences for who the council picks for port commissioner?
I don't. I mean, this is a purely council decision, and they will make that decision. Is that coming up today? Is that on the agenda?
Yeah.
Do you know who's going to be the port commissioners? You know more than I do.
Got it.
I could have done a fact check on you if you.
Should we let the staff?
Yeah, just well. Is there any questions that involve the staff? Otherwise, we'll let them
Your
go.
thoughts on the Public Records Act request that was
Yeah. Well,
filed?
okay. I want to just thank them again. You guys can go back to work. We've already. There may be a coup downstairs. While we were gone, I don't know. But thank you so much for undertaking these jobs. I'm sorry, Gene.
Your thoughts about the Public Records Act request that was filed with respect to your hirings here, the questions about transparency, timeliness of the process.
How should I phrase this?
Is it easy to hire during the holiday season?
Happy New Year to you. As I said, by the way, this team has not come together in this form until the last few days, and it's always a work in progress, and there have been negotiations on salaries and stuff like that. So we didn't have a team. I would ask all of you, by the way, and we can either provide you with the information or, since you're such great researchers, to understand what the Public Records Act is. As far as I know, I didn't have any Public Records Act requests, by the way, on this issue. A question from a reporter is not a Public Records Act request. And the question was always phrased to me, as I remember from Craig, was, do you have your team ready? Or are you ready to announce your team? And I said, we're not ready yet. And by the way, several times we did have press conferences scheduled for this. I was going to announce what we had, but the first time was the Connecticut shooting, the day of the Connecticut shooting, so we had to change that. The next, I forget, then the holidays interfered. But I would ask, and I particularly have to look at my friend here from the UT. His newspaper accused me of violating the law. There was no violation of the law. There was no compliance with the law. There was no Public Records Act request, and there was no time. The Public Records Act request gives you some time, 10 days or something. The first time the PRA came up, Mr. Gustafson, was December 27th, and then December 28th was an article that accused me of violating the law. Please understand the law before you or your newspaper accuse me of that. I have taken transparency as fundamental to this administration. I'm very aware of the Public Records Act, but I need you to be as equally responsible. That is, if there is a request for information, that's fine. If there is an official Public Records Act, there's a process for that, and there's timelines to accommodate that. And just because you asked a question doesn't make it a legal thing that I have to deal with. I kept saying that this was a work in progress, or we had to postpone this. I could have said at any point who we hired what, but I wanted to give the full team, as you saw today, so you have a picture of what I'm trying to do as mayor. That was my only intent in delaying it until we had the full team together, not to keeping any information from anybody. But I'm sure the UT would like to apologize for accusing me of violating the law when there was one, no official ask, and second, no time limit was observed, and no law was broken. Full-time, fully engaged. The intent of the ordinance was to prevent what we call double dipping, that someone retires from the city and then comes back and is not only getting retirement but getting new benefits, et cetera, et cetera. She is not getting any benefits, either retirement, health care, anything. She's just getting a salary, so she is not double dipping. So what we're asking the council to do in that situation, to allow her to work full-time, basically. That may mean, for example, the ordinance defines what a provisional employee is and gives them a 90-day limit. Well, a provisional employee means you're not getting any benefits. Well, what if that was extended to, several hundred days? That's what we're trying to do.
She still gets her salary and her retirement benefits from when she was a council. I'm sorry, her pension and retirement benefits.
I don't know personally what she gets, but I think she gets, which is, she gets a pension, which was not very big, and I think she may have health care from that. I don't know, but she does not get any benefits under me, except for her salary. And so we will ask the council to memorialize that.
Did you offer the COO job to Andrea Tubman?
I talked to several people about taking the job, about whether they were interested. And she was one of the ones I've talked to, and she decided she was not interested. So we didn't get beyond, I asked several people if they wanted to apply for the job. Several local people who are, I would say, known to be good administrators. Yeah.
If you can comment on sort of over the weekend, the Earth Day. Yeah, you probably knew this was coming anyways. Just explanation this Monday now that.
Yeah.
Just the decision there to not reconsider it or put it in another
Yeah.
location.
Well, the first thing you guys should understand is don't believe everything you read in the papers. Okay. That is. There was never any denial of a permit or anything else like that, so I'm not sure how that got into the paper like that. But let me, I've been attending Earth Day since the first one. I think that was 1974. So I'm a great supporter of Earth Day. I've been to nationally, locally, statewide Earth Days. And several of the permits for major events that have been requested for 2013 run into the scheduled construction of the so-called Centennial Bridge in Balboa Park. Now, that was passed by the council. I did not agree with it, but that was passed by the council. And it is now being challenged in the courts. A ruling is expected in February, and the city staff believes that they will be able to start construction immediately in February. I don't know what. And so I had to take their recommendation that, in fact, if there's a major construction project going on in the center of the park, which has all kinds of construction, scaffolding, and all kinds of liability problems, that major permits would have to be held up, but alternatives were given for other parts of the park. And most of the people who were offered the alternative permits for other events took them. In fact, on the west side of the park, along 6th Avenue, there's a 25-acre kind of area that is bigger than what is now. It's configured different and not as maybe conducive to the large crowds, but it can be used, and that's what's being offered. And I looked at that. I thought, well, we don't know that the construction is starting. We don't know about Earth Day is really important, but the staff convinced me that my obligation as mayor is not to have someone sue us because there was some construction going on in the middle of a project. So they were offered, and have still been offered, a 25-acre size place for the operation of Earth Day. Now, they thought that was not, I don't think they've taken the permit, but I think it's appropriate given the potential. Now, if that changes, if the court says you cannot start its construction, But they need to know now, right? I mean, that's still maybe more than a month away. If it changes, then we'll change the terms. That if they have time, they can use the whole central part. I could not put the city in a situation where there was liability concerns, and we have offered them a site which other events have taken up on, which is bigger, but it's just not as it hasn't been there for the last 20 years, and it hasn't. It's not as easily used as the kind of venue, but that's the situation that we're faced with.
As far as you know, the organizers, though, are not accepting the...
Well, we're meeting with them today, and I hope they will, but as far as I know, they have not accepted the new permit. But they were not denied a permit, they were offered a permit, and it was because of liability concerns. Now, I'm not always convinced that the staff is, but I can't take that chance as mayor.
Mayor,
Tatiana?
do you have any dates yet regarding the office that you want to open in Tijuana?
Yeah, I'm hoping that we'll have some announcement by January 15th.
January 15th?
We will not open it then, but we will have an announcement about where it will be.
Does this keep being one of your priorities?
Of course.
To promote somehow the region with this perspective?
It is a top priority of our binational region. It is a priority not only as an economic engine, but for cultural and family and neighborhood concerns and economic development. Thank you all very much. I look forward to working with you in the future.